Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your Smackdown and AEW Rampage post-show for Friday, April 14th already. Holy cow. I'm Kate, as always, joined by Alex Cardoza. Alex, it's been a couple of weeks. How you been?
I'm good. You disowned me, and I'm okay with that.
All right, calm down over there, okay? I didn't disown you. I did stick you with Joel Pearl, which tends to feel like a punishment for most people, but you
I
guys
got adopted by Robert, by Joel, and many other people here on Fightful.
you did. I was on a roll. I was doing the Supercard of Honor post show 2 weeks ago, and then last week I was at Excite Wrestling for a commentary gig, but that's how good Alex is. I can just hand him off to whoever. No, he's gonna do a great job. And we're going to do the best that we can for all of you wonderful people tonight. So please support us by getting in those super chats, getting in those humper chats at humperchats.com. And of course, leaving a thumbs up on this video if you would be so kind. The best free way to support us. Also, twitch.tv/FightfulGaming if you're on the streaming situations. If you enjoy the Twitch and the bits and the emoticon things. I know Twitch. I'm hip. I'm hip with the kids. I don't know Twitch, but what I do know is when we get like OMG so much support from you guys, and that happened. Alex, everyone's saying you're really quiet. I just assumed it was my technical malfunctions because it's always my tech.
Guys. How am I sounding?
You sound a little better. I think a little more. Can I get a little more, Alex?
Check 1 2
a little more,
7
Alex?
5 5.
Oh,
5,
see,
3.
that's a little better. A little better.
What's going on?
Better.
Yeah.
All good. All good. But I was gonna say we hit 10,000 people on FightfulSelect.com again. Thank you so much for your subscriptions and your support. Had something to do with this feller right here with the CM Punk return, the inevitable CM Punk return. It sounds like he's going to be on his way back. So much more happening. Don't let everything else get swept away and all of that. There was news on the Vince sale that feels like 6 years ago at this point, but there was tons of contract news coming out as well. Brian Cage, Billy Starks, Nigel McGuinness, so many people, Sky Blue, tons of people getting signed. I'm trying to you're still super low.
Guys,
someone said you're like a quarter the volume of I am, and I'm like, but really? I'm very loud. So
ladies and gentlemen, is check 137? I mean, I'm blasting it. Should I blast it more? I don't want to.
Yeah, you're still a little low.
Huh. That's really weird. I haven't changed anything here.
You're a little better now. I think you just need to be like on top of the microphone.
I don't want to be on top of it.
Just like we're on top of everything with Smackdown and AEW Rampage tonight. Somebody asking me if I had any good Johnny Moose stories. He's the Excite Wrestling promoter, and I can tell you, he forgot to tell me 2 times ago that he didn't need me. So
oh, wow.
I showed up. He still paid me because he's not that much of a carny, but that was a fun one. But he's a good dude. He's like the least carny guy that I've worked with outside of Fightful. So I'll take it. But thank you so much for your support. Let's get underway here. Do you guys want to start with a Rampage or do you want to start with SmackDown? Let us know in the chat. I'm inclined to start with Rampage because the opening match was incredible. And there was no women's matches on SmackDown tonight, which put me in a bad mood on them. So I don't really feel like talking about you first, SmackDown.
Wow.
When you do that. But let me know if you guys have overwhelming preferences. But Alex, it's been 2 weeks. How have you been? You're in the eye of a storm right now, it sounds like.
Yeah, supposedly it's storming outside. But I'm chilling, man. I'm hoping everyone could hear me. If not, I'm just going to yell as loud as I could.
No, we can hear you. It's just you're a little quieter than usual. But
that's weird. I'm never.
We can read you.
I'm gonna cry.
You're also like a little less well lit. I think you're just hiding from us.
I am.
Yeah, a little bit. Maybe as the support goes on, you'll get louder and brighter. Maybe we need to be the ones to fuel you.
I agree. I think that's the way it should be.
Well, let's start with Rampage then. because this is Rampage, baby. All right. We started off with a super, super fun match. Off the bat, I want to get your thoughts just like in general, but I just want to say, well, this was a decent episode of Rampage. As someone that also covers ROH, I need delineation between my AEW roster and my ROH roster and who's fighting in what divisions. It feels like on one night you might be in a Rampage trios match, and then you might be in a singles match in ROH the next week. So clean it up, people.
You've been saying that for a while, by the way.
Now you're super loud.
Oh, super loud?
Now you're just like back to normal. This is perfect.
Oh, I like it. Okay, there we go.
We're back in the groove, baby. Well, I was saying that for a little bit, and part of why I was saying that was I assumed after Super Card of Honor we were going to get that clarity. I figured we've got this build to the pay-per-view. They were taped in advance, so you had these rosters in all these different places. But I'm sure after the pay-per-view we'll get this clarity, and now I haven't seen the new ROH tag champions for the past 2 weeks. And I saw, Mark Briscoe, who I always want to see. But I saw him on Rampage, and I saw him on ROH, and I saw...
But we saw Jeff Jarrett. Doesn't that make you happy? Oh, God. Should I lower my volume again?
Well, I'm going to mute you if you keep bringing up Jeff Jarrett. But
Kylie!
You could turn it down a little bit. But AEW was fun. I miss Spears. Anyway, love y'all. I miss Shawn Spears, too. I've always been in the corner of Shawn Spears, kind of the same way I was with Sami Zayn. Now he's gotten like this awesome push, but he was just one of those guys that I was like, I really love Ty Dillinger, and I really liked the glove era of Shawn Spears. I feel like it was a little bit underrated. Like I think he's great. He was great with all the Pinnacle stuff. Very fun to see him back tonight. But let's dive in. Speaking of people that are showing up on ROH and AEW, I don't have a problem with them showing up when they're defending their IWGP World Tag Team titles, though. And I really don't mind when they're putting on awesome matches like this. We got Aussie Open with the best friends here. They're coming out with the win, which was fun. We get the end of this being Fletcher applying a tombstone pile driver, which got a big pop from the crowd. And Aussie Open setting up, of course, for the kick for the win here. I thought this match was great. I don't think there was a way this was going to go wrong, really. Also, really appreciated our wonderful moderator, Louise, pointing out that Excalibur shouting, "Close your eyes and count to freak," because you can't say the F word on TV was pretty great. But Aussie Open is having a hell of a run here. I hope they built a title shot with FTR just because I want to see that match. There's a couple dream matches I have in my head with Aussie, but I really want to see them versus Uno and Grayson. I really want to see them versus the Workhorsemen. Getting to cover ROH, I've gotten to see a little bit more of it. So very, 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 very into what they're doing right now. What did you think of this match, and what do you think of Aussie Open in general?
Do you want me to be honest or just fake it?
I want you to be honest.
Okay, good. Well, I missed the match because I was watching Smackdown. And I had totally forgot that they were starting earlier, but I didn't know what time the basketball game was ending. So therefore, I did miss it. But I'll tell you my opinion on Aussie Open, and I saw some of the highlights. And I can tell you that if they let them to continue to work the way they do in front of our screens, more and more people are going to be open to wanting to see these guys on television. Because the crap that they just put, the moves and the way that they put on a clinic on television for us is insane.
Super hot now.
Am I?
Yeah. It's so fun being the one without the tech problems. That's normally a me thing, so I'm gonna take it. Normally, you've got your setup, you've got your soundboard, everything is
I have
rocking
no
and
idea
rolling.
what's going on, to be honest.
All right, well, we'll just do our best. How's that?
I'll lower myself completely. There you go.
No, you're good. I'll take it. You're Goldilocks now. Now you're just right. Goldilocks is kind of my thing. So, absolutely love this. And because they were defending a title, I really like them showing up on multiple programs. One LT photo saying in the chat there that you forget how big Aussie Open is. Yeah, those guys are kind of deceptively big. And they're really good promo too. If you haven't seen a ton of them, you might not be as familiar, but they were doing some really cool stuff on ROH where they were cutting a promo on Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal. And they were like, man, you guys were the best tag team in the world when I was 7, and now it's our time. And it just like was this really, really natural talkers, really, really fun. They have that like that Aussie Open thing can go a few different ways. And to me, they're like the let's grab a beer hard guys after. Super, super fun. And best friends are great. Like I don't know what to say. I think everybody's kind of on the same page in that like Trent Beretta's just been unbelievable ever since he came back from injury over a year ago at this point. Fantastic shape. Can't talk about Chuck Taylor without talking about like that he's probably the biggest sex icon in AEW. And then on top of that, like Orange Cassidy's having this incredible international title reign, which a lot of people didn't know how it was going to work. I don't think, and I'm not like an Orange Cassidy, they can't make the gimmick work kind of person, but I was like, oh, let's see what an Orange Cassidy title reign looks like. And they've made it work really well. You know, you're carrying around that backpack. You're carrying around a lot of power. So this was super, super fun. Meat Normus saying, what's up, partners? What's up, Meat Normus? Meat loves you. Well, we love you too, man.
We love meat here on the show, don't we?
We sure do. We sure do. No vegans here. We're not telling meat to get
we
out
love
of here.
meat, yes.
We appreciate you. You know what? I had an open sponsor read today.
Oh, God.
But because you just said we love meat, you know what we're going to do? We're going to tell you about BlueChew.com. Because if you love meat, you're going to want it to be performing at its best, okay? You're going to want that meat to be, you know, cooked well. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
You don't want your meat being too rare out here, all right? We don't want anything cooked blue, but we do want it cooked with Blue Chew.
It's the blue brand, and you know what that means. BlueChew.com. If you're looking to do it in front of a crowd, you don't want that performance anxiety when you're gonna go have sex. BlueChew.com brings you the first chewable with the same active ingredients as Viagra and Cialis, so you know they work. But you know what? It gets rid of all the awkward talks and conversations besides this one. You don't have to go to the doctor's office. You don't have to wait in line at the pharmacy. You work with their licensed medical providers. They find the right active ingredient for you, and it ships straight to your door. And when you get the package, it's not going to say, sup, wiener pills. It comes in a discreet package, so your package no longer is discreet. It's not just for people with ED or problems. It's about that confidence. You want to perform at your peak. And how about this? Maybe you're starting to travel more. Maybe you're on the road more. You're spending more money. Not with your first shipment of Blue Chew. You get it free when you use the code FIGHTFUL. Just pay $5 shipping. That's how we keep the mailman hush-hush. $5 shipping is all it takes to get your first shipment and get that confidence. Maybe it's been a while after the pandemic and you're looking to get back out there. Get back out there with BlueChew.com. Code FIGHTFUL. I forgot to hit the stop button, so here we are. BlueChew.com, code FIGHTFUL.
You know the crazy thing is? You're muted.
Do you still hear the ad playing? What is going on with the tech today?
Sup, wiener pills.
Wiener pills.
I want to show up to my mailbox and just see it just in big wiener black bold letters. Sup.
Sometimes the ad read is just so good you have to segue to it. So that's what's up. RH saying there is parity between ROH and AEW. Sky Blue is undefeated in ROH but winless on Dynamite. I pointed that out yesterday at our ROH review. I was like, girl, stay where the grass is greener. Just stay around ROH. I do hope her and Billy Starks form a tag team, though. That would be interesting. I'm very intrigued by the ROH women's division because they brought in some really great talent. We got to see Ashley D'Amboise yesterday. She's fantastic. I think you pronounced the S. I think I said it wrong. D'Amboise. Miranda Alizé, some of the talent that we saw featured in ROH before it shut down, kind of coming back into play here. I don't know if they're going to go the tag route, but very excited to see Billy Starks getting signed. Very excited to see Sky Blue getting the push. I wouldn't be shocked if we got a blood and guts and she was the one to get the pin to finally get that moment on Dynamite. But I do think her working out of ROH is a great call. Very intrigued to see where that division goes. Should be a lot of fun. I love ROH. I am. Everyone was like freaking out about CM Punk possibly coming back. I was too, don't get me wrong. Huge CM Punk mark, but I was like, I can't wait for ROH tonight. Yesterday, I was just in my element with that. But we're not here to talk ROH, but we always can because I love it.
You're the boss.
Little Mean Kathleen in the chat too. She's fantastic. We've gotten to see some good talent. We get to see more talent coming in here in what was a match? I mean, was this even a minute long? Mark Briscoe, JJ Lethal, and Singh. Just smoosh. R.I.P. Mascot Manning. This was like 20 seconds long, and it happened. I don't really have any thoughts on it. It was because it was the squashiest squash of all time. And anything to write home about here?
No, I don't want to talk about something that might upset you. So no.
Talk about Jeff Jarrett. Let's talk about Jeff Jarrett.
Can I be honest?
He hasn't been on TV in a while, and you know what? I didn't miss him.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I haven't seen him on in a minute, so.
And did you miss him? Were you like, oh, I was so sad that Jeff Jarrett hasn't been
Every time I see him, I see you. I don't know why.
You know what? Sean Ross Sapp is returning back to the show for the draft episodes, and I think it's good because I think you unprofessionally, and summarily need to walk out of here. Cool your jets before you come back. He does have great hair, though. We do.
You did leave me for 3 weeks.
2, 3? Was it 3? I think it was 2.
Felt like it.
Whatever. Leave me alone. We got an FTR promo that was really good to see. They revealed that they're going to be around for about 4 years, which is awesome news if you are an FTR fan. Doing great work here. They say that they thank the fans for the support. And Cash Wheeler says when their contract is done, they are going to be done with wrestling. They're going to walk away from it after 4 years. Wrestlers notoriously very true to their word in that regard. None of them have ever come back. Cash promises they will be the greatest tag team of all time when they are done. Not a lot more to say here. Just a nice post-celebratory kind of moment, which was nice to see. Top guys out. Really, really liking this. But let's speculate. We know CM Punk is coming back.
How do you know this?
Well, I know this from Fightful Select.
Wow. Oh, look at you.
It sounds like the possibility of a trios match, which would be the biggest program in the company's history. Let's be honest. He's open to that. I don't know if the Elite are. I wouldn't blame them for not being open to it if they weren't. I think if there's even the slightest possibility, that's the move. Because you could have your title programs going on as well as the biggest match in the company's history, right? Now, what that does with FTR is it flips them back, I'm guessing, to the heel side. I don't think you're going to get Kenny and the Bucks being heels out of this. I like Punk as a heel better anyway. He's a great face. He's a phenomenal heel. I think he comes back as the bad guy if he's walking into this program. Does that do anything to you as a fan? Like, do you prefer FTR face? Would that bum you out? I like them on both sides of the coin. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, can we have shades of gray here? Or no? Or was that not allowed? Do we have to have...
I think you almost have to sign up for that because I don't know that you can anticipate a reaction for CM Punk coming back. Like, if he's in Chicago, he's probably a face. If he's in Canada against Kenny Omega, he's probably a heel. That's just how I feel about it. You know, in Newark, they were chanting F him. Yeah. A lot's changed since then, it feels like. I don't know. I think you're right in that you almost have to play it from a Shades of Grey perspective because I don't know if you can know what the reaction for him coming back would be.
Well, all I know is that by the end of the match, it's gonna be people are gonna end up satisfied. Just being honest, like whatever happens, however this match gets put on, I think that they know they're gonna be making a lot of money.
That's the
So
move.
let's just think about that.
If both sides sign up for it, there's a lot of money to be made on that. And there's also, let's not forget, like there's like 6 months of feuds right there that you don't even have to think about for creative, right? That's insane. So does introduce a whole new slate from that perspective. I also, though, like it would blow the roof off the place. I don't really care. But from the perspective of, I also don't want my tag teams tied up in the trios picture, like the tag team belts, right? So unless Punk's gonna win like the international title and all three of them are gonna have gold or something weird, right? Like I don't want that. So I feel like, is this a shorter FTR run? Do they just also have tag matches during whatever this program would be? Like it feels a little bit handcuffed. So,
but I feel like they don't need titles for this match. I feel the feud alone should fire this match into into space. Let's just be honest. This match does not need to have any type of gold around it. What this match needs to have is some type of discourse between teams. You know, the Young Bucks want the belt. There's arguments going on. Kenny gets involved. Now we're beating the crap out of each other. You know, and
I think also, if you look at the tag division, there are two teams that have held the belts twice, the Young Bucks and now FTR. Yeah. So that could also play into things here. There's just these little things that I think people aren't thinking about, because it would be the biggest match in history and they should do it if both sides feel comfortable and safe doing it.
I think you keep the belts away as far away from this trios match. I think it should just be on, we got to beat the hell out of each other. And you know what? FTR has his back. It could be that he's getting his ass beat by the Elite and FTR joins in. Like, so much.
Yeah, that would get interesting. That would get interesting. So
kind of like my volumes.
Kind of like your volumes, but you're study the course now, brother. Let's hope that AEW studies the course here.
I'm glad I'm on this boat with you.
I'm glad too. It's nice to be back. I'm very tired, but it is nice to be back in our usual routine here.
Yeah.
We got a promo from the Hardys. They announced the firm is going to be deleted at the Hardy compound. That was a whole bunch of fun last time they did it. I think it was during the pandemic.
Yeah.
It had to have been. But they did this like Hardy compound match, and it was a pretty good time. Jeff Hardy in the background just doing the delete motion like nonstop without interruption was absolutely cracking me up. This is kind of interesting because they're the faces in all of this. But very nice to see here. I think it's cool that this angle started on AEW Dark and has kind of built its way up to this point. And now you're adding a huge Jeff Hardy return into all of this, right? I think that's super fun. I do want to see Ethan Page do a lot of really big things. So I hope that this is a stepping stone for him to move up into some title pictures. Maybe he's the one that dethrones Orange Cassidy for that international title. But I'm looking forward to this at the Hardy compound. We've gotten so back into normal matches that we haven't seen an off the beaten path one probably since Anarchy at the Arena. And that was just a bloodbath. I think Kingston was coming down with his gasoline can. I was falling in love with them. Really, 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 really fun stuff there. But what are your thoughts on this feud that got built out, and what do you want to see from this next Hardy compound match?
We're probably going to see more stuff out of the Hardys than we have from, unfortunately, Bray Wyatt on this, right? Like, it's kind of crazy. Like, you're going to see some really cool stuff. Like, they're creative, and you know, the fact
so is Bray.
No, I know what I'm trying to say.
The creative department is creative over there at WWE, but
I am trying to say in the fact that they're allowed to do it their way, which is necessarily not ever bad, because those compound matches are extremely entertaining.
It's not always the most for me thing in the world. I'm pretty consistent across the board of not loving spooky stuff. But this is comedy spooky stuff, and that always plays a little bit better. I like the comedy stuff or the spooky stuff that has like a foot in reality and one out, like a Malachi Black or an Asuka. What she's doing right now is super interesting, where you're more like, that person's crazy, not that person doesn't exist in this world. So that's just my preference. The deletion thing isn't always like for me, but the last one of these that they did at the compound was super fun. So I'm intrigued to see what happens here. I hope they take advantage of the things that they can, because realistically, like, Jeff just came back and they're not spring chickens anymore, right? So
Right.
Sometimes those more cinematic matches are actually really good for helping you. I don't even want to say disguise, but I'll say control some things that you wouldn't be able to normally control in a regular wrestling match. So that sounds good. And I missed this Wardlow promo, so you can speak to that if you want.
Can I? That's another one. I did not get back into Rampage up until like I texted you, so I missed this Wardlow. I saw the stuff before. I don't know why I missed the Wardlow promo.
I think these ones are so fast on Rampage that it's like, if I go to feed my dog, which is what happened, I completely missed it.
Yeah, because yeah, it's so weird. I was trying to like flop through the channels back and forth and see what was going on. I until I read it here, I was like, what? There was a Wardlow promo I missed? God.
Yeah, I didn't see it. So.
Sorry, people. I am so unprofessional
promo
tonight. I got bad lighting, bad vocals.
Do better.
In between.
I've never been unprofessional, not once. Not earlier in the show when I made a dick joke out of your meat.
I know. You burned my meat, by the way.
Okay, I did. Yeah. So
I was crying.
We both didn't see it. You want to make something up? Let's make something up.
Yeah, so
I bet it had to do with Hobbs's car. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what. Hobbs is coming for Wardlow, and it's gonna probably have to do with something that Wardlow owns. I don't know what. Maybe his wardrobe. I don't know. But
I was gonna say, I think the Hobbs end of this. I saw like that last shot, but I didn't hear anything that got.
Now obviously I saw what he did to his car in during Dynamite. That was pretty cool, you know, like, and then he forgot to put the damn thing on park, so it kind of kept on rolling.
I watched that back, so I was probably half of the views that whatever that got on YouTube was just me watching back the fact that it was slowly rolling.
Yeah, that's so funny.
So funny.
Wardrobe. They put wardrobe on the chat. That could work.
Wardrobe. There you go. Wardrobe. It's Wardrobe's world, man.
I do think that, you know, just just to be a little serious on the serious side here, just a tiny bit. This is the stuff I've been wanting, and I've been praising Hobbs since we've met. Every time we speak about him, every time that he's on TV, I always tell you how much I love the fact that he needs to be somewhere. And you know what? Wardlow is a big time player. And he looks like a champion, acts like a champion. He has the look, everything. So I think I don't know where this is going to end up for them. I hope he does. I hope Hobbs continues to hold the belt. But it's kind of propelling him. I'm enjoying it.
It's been fun. I'm ready to see some more things happen in the ring than Hobbs squashing people with torture racks. As fun as that is, because it is. I want to see what these two are going to do in the ring. And I also feel like we already got the triple threat with Samoa Joe, right? Like, there are some pieces that I'm like, we have like 8 things to build to. So I don't know how they're going to pull this off. But they've got Double or Nothing. They've got Forbidden Door. They've got All In and All Out. And I'm assuming a Blood and Guts there. Let's for now just assume it's only going to be the women's Blood and Guts. And they're only doing one.
Oh, that would be so, yeah.
But they're clearly building out this like Elite and Blackpool Combat Club stuff. There's a lot happening, and potentially a CM Punk return and all of that. So I get a little bit nervous when I'm like, okay, Samoa Joe hasn't been on ROH in 2 weeks. Is he in ROH or AEW? Like, that's when the lack of clarity, I'm like, let's not do that thing that we did when Forbidden Door and Blood and Guts were back to back last year, where it feels like the builds get lost because you're basically building to 2 events on top of each other. So little things like that. But this does clearly have a direction because we are getting vignettes about it, right? For all you vignette discourse people out there, Luis confirmed that it did have to do with Hobbs's car. So I could have just BS'd my whole way through that. I could have lied to y'all. Hobbs said that he would take him out to retain the title. I did see how well these were shot. I probably had my eye on SmackDown at this point to what you were saying before. But I do love the video. The way it's all shot with Hobbs has been really, really, really cool.
Oh yeah, yeah,
like
incredible
really
stuff that they've been doing with him. I'm so glad that they gave him the time and the treatment.
Agreed. So we move along to Emi Sakura versus Taya Valkyrie. I thought was a really fun match. Taya being the person that it's like Jade finally met her match feels right to me right now. She is a big, strong, athletic, ass-kicking woman. She has sincerely been using Jade's finisher for real for years, which is really, really fun here. This was a great match. They've used Emi Sakura so well. If you're going to use her in this way, they've used her right. Like, I know there's some people that want her to be on screen and stories getting pushes a little bit more, but if she's going to be there to help talent along, she's been absolutely fantastic in that role. This was a really great match. It ultimately ends with Taya fighting off a kick here and winning with the Road to Valhalla to end it. After Layla Gray gets in the ring and catches an elbow to the face that looks kind of nasty. Also getting a Road to Valhalla as well. And Jade finally gets in the ring and the two trade blows a little bit. Jade follows everything up with a pump kick and the Jaded to end the segment. I don't even I'm to the point where I'm like, do I even want to get invested in a Jade challenger? Because like we get the same lather, rinse, repeat with her a little bit, but I do feel like they brought her in maybe to be the one to do this. If not, I'll be like, okay, clearly we're waiting until Chris Statlander to come along and get it back, which wouldn't make me mad, but this title reign has felt stalled for a long time. This has been a refreshing program to liven that up a little bit. I wish it was more prominently featured. Like they've had Taya, she debuted in the ring on a Rampage that was on at like 1 a.m. or whatever, and then another one that was on at like 4 p.m. Like for making her feel like a big deal when she got announced and signed, they haven't followed it through in the best way possible. But I like the program that they're building out. I think it could be featured a little bit better. What are your thoughts on this match and on Taya Valkyrie?
I love that they use Sakura so well in AEW. Like she fits the mold, she fits right in, and she's been on here for a while, for a long time. And seeing Taya, man, Taya's big. She just looks menacing, bro. This is the perfect opponent to meet Jade and finally have that brute strength of a match that she deserves. You know what I'm saying? Like she needs that one-on-one, someone that can go up to her and kind of push her around a little bit. So yeah, I'm excited. Taya it was a good signing, to be completely honest. A really good signing.
She's a star, man. She, of course, made a ton of her name and her legacy and impact. She went to NXT at a time where things were a little bit weird, so didn't get the ground to grow on that I think she was probably hoping for. But I think AEW is a really nice fit. I would love to see her versus Athena at some point. This version of Athena versus her could do some nasty, nasty, hard-hitting work. I'm very excited to see her here, but nice also just to have a real viable threat for Jade. It feels good to have something to buy into again. And one thing that I'm immediately bought into, a video package of Vikingo versus Jalisco that is going to be on the Saturday Rampage for next week. So we'll be at another weird time here. But that's going to be for the AAA Mega Championship, defended live on Rampage. They're just doing dream matches with Vikingo,
really are,
man. It's wild. So stay tuned for that. We will not be covering it here because it'll be on Saturday next week.
El sábado.
Very cool stuff. There you go. Do you watch any AAA or?
Not in a while. I used to actually sit there with my cousins from California. They would just talk a ton about it. So I kind of started okay, let me just go on YouTube and see what's going on and whatnot. And I started watching what was happening, and I was like, okay, I can get behind it. And you see some familiar faces, some familiar names pop up now that came from AAA, and I'm like, oh my god, I remember watching this. So yeah, I just, what it is, it's hard to fit, alone with all the 6 shows that we're watching here, and then fit, outside professional wrestling, lucha
I
libre,
know.
into the mix. But it's very, very refreshing to watch. I suggest anyone who's sitting here listening and watching this is to go check out some of the older matches. It's pretty dope.
Check out some of the newer matches, because that gives you an opportunity to put over Sam Adonis, who I think is a
Don't watch
phenomenal
newer
talent.
matches, just watch older matches.
No, watch Sam Adonis. I believe there's a lot of wrestling to keep track of, people, and it's been a chaotic week. So don't hold me to this, but I think Swerve is in like a 4-pack or a 6-pack on their next pay-per-view. I think the main event of that is Alberto Del Patron, but versus and his tag team partner versus Sam Adonis, who I adore as a talent, and his views on wrestling. I find him to be a super skilled wrestler and a very interesting worldview and interesting take on the wrestling industry. And he is teaming with Psycho Clown, I believe. So
I did mention on the Twitter, by the way, that it's really refreshing to see AAA on AEW television, and the defending of the belts and whatever, how they bring it in. And it's very old WCW like, and it's cool, which shows you that you could do it. You could have that interaction with other, as Kate is choking, with other wrestling companies and make them work.
Agreed. I'm intrigued to see if Wembley has some of that. I'm intrigued to see what happens there. Oh my
god. Let's not even talk about Wembley.
I know. Or if Forbidden Door will be bigger in that way. Like, I wonder if yeah,
look at all this insane wrestling we're getting. It's 2023. You would think this stuff would be stale and out of our lives.
No, because there's so many more options than ever.
So much.
Stop whining about the ones you don't like. Unless you get paid to.
Just put it in my veins.
There you go.
I love it.
Well, we get the segment of the night. We get the Jericho Appreciation Society with their rap battle disc coming down.
For sports entertainment, I enjoyed that.
You know what? If you're going to go on a pro wrestling program and call yourself sports entertainers, and you're going to throw a dash of sports entertainment my way, I'm sorry, entertainment, why not? This angle has been so much fun. This trying to recruit the Acclaimed, the video that we saw of them all on the carousel and stuff. What a fun little story that they built out here. And this diss track coming in from Matt Menard, Jake Hager rapping about how he likes his hats. They're gonna cut off Daddy Magic's nipples. It's a whole thing. They're thrown out saying the Acclaimed are adopted. There's all of these disses happening all over the place, but this was just a whole bunch of fun. It does set up the Acclaimed, isolating Matt Menard as Billy Gunn has the scissors to try and cut those nipples off, but Jake Hager grabs them in time, and the Acclaimed challenge the Jericho Appreciation Society to a match on Dynamite. And that, my friends, is a match that should be on Rampage and not Dynamite next week.
I'll tell you what, when something about Matt saying, you know what makes my nipples? I mean,
he's hysterical.
Why hasn't anyone said that on television in pro wrestling yet? And this man just does it week in and week out, and it's not old. It's not boring. Please tell me about what makes your nipples hard. I'm here for it.
We need to know.
Yeah.
And he asks. He's like, do you know? And we're like, no, we don't. And he's like,
we don't. Please tell us.
It's great stuff. It's great stuff. So we move along to our main event with Jack Perry and Shawn Spears. I want my traditional battle of the words with Mark Henry in the middle and the split screen. Give me. It's like comfort food. It's like when you're sick and you're curled up with chicken noodle soup and you put a blanket around you and you're resting. It's like Mark Henry doing that. It's like, that's the format that I want. But we have a really, really fun match here. I was so excited to see Shawn Spears back here. I really, really like him. And Jungle Boy getting the win here. Not a surprise at all, but a really great match. A nice collision of styles here. What were your thoughts on our main event?
Yeah, this new presentation that they have with Jack Perry, just showing him a different side of him, a different not darker, but he's just yeah, he still comes out with the same gimmick like Jungle Boy, but man,
he's a little less playful though. This is a little more grounded.
He's definitely starting to show another side of him, which shows dimension, which I love. And Shawn Spears, what can we say about Shawn Spears except that I wish he was in more serious stuff as opposed to just kind of showing up. And I know he just had the baby, but before that, it was getting a little bit tiring with the chairman and being a lackey of NJF's. I want to actually see him.
I loved glove era Spears when he had the glove. Yeah. And I think he did really well in his role as the lackey, but I do feel like it's an underutilization of what.
Very much so.
Yeah.
And I consider him like one of the very first ones that jumped ship when AEW first started. Like, like that whole mixed thing where people started coming over. And he's been a workhorse for them when he's on TV. So I feel like they need to start doing something. Put him in the international freaking belt. I don't know, whatever.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
I would like to see him on some sort of track. But he's great, and this was a really, really nice match to close out the night. This was a nice back and forth. Love seeing Spears. He's another one that I think stylistically would be so great in ROH.
So good, right? As she chokes again.
Yeah,
Are you okay? Everything okay?
Yeah, I just haven't had a day of not talking about wrestling since.
Oh wow, yeah.
The Saturday before Mania. So it's been a lot of me talking and my voice is a little tired.
But congratulations. You know why?
Because it rules?
Because it's paying the bills.
It does. It
just like you said on Twitter.
It pays some bills, baby.
So
getting paid. Rocking and rolling.
Yeah.
No, it's awesome. There's nothing I'd rather do, but my vocal cords are just like, hey, relax. And then it's 90 degrees out for some reason. My sinuses are going crazy. But even though my voice is tired, I'm not tired of talking about wrestling. Let's get into some SmackDown, guys. Send in your super chats. Send in your humper chats. We got a little bit more show left for you. And, we've got some pay-per-views coming up. All right. We don't know what the structure is going to be. AEW might be like, give me $50, then give me another $50 a week later. What? The bills are adding up, like we just said. I think there's going to be some stuff coming in the pipeline that's going to be good for that. But what if there's not? What if you were just like, I wish I could travel to a different country? Okay. I wish I could get these pay-per-views for a cheaper price. I wish nobody even knew how much wrestling I was watching on my computer. Well, let me tell you about NordVPN. Or should I let Shawn?
If you don't get NordVPN.com/Fightful, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to find out about your big life events, and I'm going to break the news. I'm going to scoop you. But if you do get NordVPN.com/Fightful, you can change your virtual location with just one click. I won't be able to do that. I mean, honestly, I'm probably not going to anyway because I'm too busy watching all the great content that I have access to thanks to NordVPN.com/Fightful. But I might threaten it for the sake of this read. And you don't want that, do you? I don't want to spend my time doing that, but you're going to force me into it. 4 months free, 30-day money-back guarantee, block online trackers, block malware, block annoying pop-up ads on all your devices. They've got 3 great tiers: Pass, a locker, a VPN. You can watch all your favorite shows abroad, get pay-per-views at a much more affordable price with NordVPN.com/Fightful.
What a deal. It's good stuff.
NordVPN is the best.
NordVPN is the best. They made a lot of money in us. They've invested it. We appreciate them. They're like the best sponsor in the whole wide world. Please hit them up on Twitter and let them know that you found out about them through us. It is sincerely a really good deal if you're looking into a VPN for your own stuff. People are getting hacked now more than ever. So secure your S word with NordVPN.com. Code FIGHTFUL. They're the best. SmackDown tonight was not the best, Alex. It wasn't the worst, but it was not the best. We had no women's matches. We had a lot of talking. We do have the draft coming up, so I wasn't expecting anything monumental if they're going to be shaking up the rosters. Sean Ross Sapp is going to be here for those episodes. What were your thoughts on SmackDown as a whole tonight?
I criticized it at first on the Twitter. Then I got criticized by all the people who don't want me to talk about WWE in a bad way, which I wasn't. I had just made an observation that there was a lot of rematches again, a lot of the same faces, and no women's match, obviously. So I don't know. I understand that there was different segments that moved things along. Watching Xavier and LA Knight makes me happy. But what more can I say? It kind of felt like last week's SmackDown.
Yeah, you're not the only one who made that observation. You're not the only one who got criticized. Sean,
I'm sorry, guys.
And then said, "Hey, why is everyone being so weird?" And the answer is because people on the internet are weird. This was a really medium episode. Again, with the draft coming up, I wasn't expecting a whole bunch because you're not going to start a whole bunch of stuff if you are planning to shake up your rosters. But excuse me, sorry. We got an opening video package. I'm not going to go into it. It's the same recaps that we start every week off with, but Sami Zayn thanking the crowd in our opening promo here, reminding us that the tag team titles a main evented WrestleMania for the first time. He thanks the crowd for helping him and Owens be showcased as champions. Owens brings up the atmosphere of the draft, but says it doesn't matter where they end up because they are the undisputed tag team champions. And after all the hard work, they're going to defend them with everything they got. Jay and Jimmy say they can hear Sami and Owens. They remind them that they were the tag team champions for 2 years. And Owens and Sami might be folding after 2 weeks. Then they go into really bad, poorly written stuff here. Jimmy says that the bloodline is more dangerous than ever, stronger than ever. The Usos and Solo have all leveled up. You lost the titles. You are not stronger than ever. You are, by definition, not stronger than ever. This makes absolutely no sense to me. And you're delivering this promo to the team that you lost them to at WrestleMania. This was all good and fine until they started making no sense about anything here. I don't understand why you would do that. But they start to pick a fight, and Matt Riddle comes out, of course. This is not any fault of wrestling. This isn't bad professional wrestling from a structural standpoint. I don't care about Matt Riddle at all. Like, I just don't right now.
I know. That feels so out of place.
It does. And I just feel like everything that they built up with, I want it to be about Sami and Kevin, not Matt Riddle.
So I
don't care about Matt Riddle. Like, I said, don't.
Yeah, I was like, this feels out of place. And immediately I got corrected on Twitter. Well, he's coming back because Solo was the one who took him out. So, he has to fight him. I'm like, yeah, but it still feels out of place. It doesn't fit what's happening within the last couple months.
Right. It is good and rare that we get the continuity of Solo as the one that took him out. He actually came back to resolve the thing with the person he started it with.
Right.
It's just from a matter of that's why I said, like, it's not technically bad pro wrestling. I just don't care. Like, from a perspective of taste.
I'm so tired of getting yelled at online and being told.
Oh, buckle up here. The more that you're here, the more you're gonna get
a lot of bad things on my DMs are just getting worse and worse. I'm either a WWE lackey or I'm an AEW lackey, and
try being a girl. Then you've just slept with them all. So
yeah.
Right.
Slept with Shawn.
I've slept with. I slept with Shawn. I've slept with you. I slept with Robert T. Felice. I've slept with, like a lot of people at NXT. I've slept with people I've never talked to, been in the same room with. It's really interesting how active my sex life is.
Just don't remember us happening, but I agree with you.
No, that's what I always say. I'm sorry to the fellas, but it hasn't been very memorable because I don't even remember it. But
God damn.
Sorry.
It's anyway. Well, let's talk about more important stuff here because this is what we do.
No, but it does feel like the tag team champions, the newly minted ones, the ones that just main evented WrestleMania, the ones that have had this 8-month build, are playing second fiddle to Riddle, which I don't really like. They are constrained by the fact that the next pay-per-view is Backlash, right? So it all kind of relates to things that happened at WrestleMania.
Backlash,
yeah. So, so
can I ask you something? I know that they mentioned, this is the first time a tag team match has main evented WrestleMania, but it was 2 nights, and I don't feel I don't like looking at it like that. I want to know that WrestleMania is WrestleMania. One day, let's have it all 8 hours and have a great time. So
it's the same BS as when they had co-main events, right?
Is it really, right? It's like a co-main event. It's like they went in before Cody and Romano.
I mean, it technically is, but I also feel like it didn't feel that great to me because they booted Charlotte and Rhea from that spot. So it's like they had set out the stipulation that the winners of Royal Rumble are the ones that main event nights 1 and 2 of WrestleMania, and then they just didn't. They just decided that wasn't the case. So that always feels tainted to me. It'll feel tainted to me since I saw CM Punk versus Undertaker, and then I saw what awful. I'm sorry, it was bad. The Rock versus Cena 2 was just bad. It was. I was
there with you, by the way. We just weren't sleeping together yet, but I was there. Great set.
I've actually met.
It was a great set, the Brooklyn Bridge and stuff. It was really cool. I know we did meet. We had coffee and we hung out and we touched feet.
We were. Don't save it for the OnlyFans, bro.
Sorry.
People pay good money for that. No, I love finding out what unseasonably tan weirdos I've kissed, because that's what wrestlers are at the end of the day. Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Like, I think you had Punk Taker, you called that a co-main event, like, ever to me as a wrestling fan, because I started watching in real time in 2009. Like, then I was like, oh, okay, who cares? Like, main eventing doesn't really mean that to me anymore. But they deserved that spot. They were the story that should have been the main event there. So, and Lord knows what they did with Night 2. So, not great, but we will move right along. Guys, getting your super chats and your humper chats. We got a few of those that came in. Thank you so much. From Jamal saying, I can't lie, I had my doubts after WrestleMania, but I'm hooked back in. Okay. I think this all ends at SummerSlam. Bloodline implodes and Cody takes the belt off Roman. It'll end where it started. Well, you have more faith than I that they will finish the story, but I'm always glad when people get back into wrestling. That makes me really happy. Even if it's stuff that I don't love about it, there's things that when I first started watching or got back into wrestling in certain ways or whatever, that I'm like, I probably wouldn't have liked it now, but I'm glad I did then because it got me here. So that's awesome. Like what you like, watch what you watch, have a good time.
I think they'll finish that story. Trust me, they will. Someday, somehow, they'll finish it, and it's going to be grand.
I don't have faith because I don't feel like they've given me reason to have that faith. So we will see.
I have adrenaline in my soul.
I'm happy for you. I hope that you don't have to go to a local medical facility to have that checked out, which is why I have my doubts about Cody in the story, but I don't have doubts about how much I love LA Knight, but I do have doubts about the way this match was booked. You mess with somebody's joystick, there will be consequences, Wade Barrett says.
That's
this
true.
Match ended up being an IC contendership match, which is why the way it ended was dumb. Dumb. This match was really good. Xavier Woods and LA Knight have really good chemistry in the ring. Glad they're using Xavier Woods while his tag team partners are out of commission. LA Knight is super over. I don't understand why they keep having him lose. There's a story right there. Gunther and LA Knight, when they were in NXT, both had a match at Stand and Deliver. You're leading to WrestleMania Backlash. It writes itself. That was dumb. You have Xavier Woods go over via cheating. Now, Pulaski has a whole other rant you can check out on Fightful Select about the level to stupid that this is, but I do agree with him. I don't like it when faces cheat, particularly with the same moves that the heels do, because the whole thing is you have good guys and bad guys, and if they're doing the same shit, what's the difference between the two, except that one didn't get caught? And the good guy not getting caught actually makes less sense here. Also, you shouldn't have to sneak a win to be going into a title match. Like against Gunther, this unbeatable guy. Pulaski has a stronger rant than I do on that, but I do agree with that philosophy. I don't like when they do it anywhere. I didn't like in AEW when they did it with MJF and Jon Moxley, where Moxley used the paradigm shift and was the face in their title bout. So
right.
I just don't like faces cheating. It kind of defeats the point. That one, at least MJF was using it as leverage, and so it was still like him getting a comeuppance in a way, but I just didn't really like this. And I feel like LA Knight is super over and had a bunch of momentum, and he should be winning matches. If you want Xavier Woods to go over against someone, put him against someone else and have LA Knight beat somebody else. Like, I don't think LA Knight should be losing at this point. Your thoughts on the match, which I thought was very good, and the outcomes here?
Yeah, I love them. I love them being put together. I love whenever Woods is in the ring, he's just so good with whomever they put him in there with. But then you put him up with someone like as good as LA Knight, and it was just they just shine in there. I do wish, like, I understand Woods is, he's a veteran there at WWE. Now we know LA Knight's been in the scene for many years, but not in WWE, and I wish they would have kind of started something with him. That the way he came in with the Maximum Male Models already put a bad taste in my mouth, and then he went on to face Bray in a Chips Ahoy match. That put another like sour taste in my mouth, and like
his work was really good in that Bray feud. That's my thing.
No,
like,
right.
LA Knight's work was great.
Can we elevate him?
Yes.
I want to see him elevated. Where else can we put him in? I don't know. We'll see.
I agree.
Karrion Kross is another one, and we saw him today, right? TikTok. I go on TikTok too. I love watching TikToks, as a matter of fact. So yeah.
Oh, we'll get there. We will get there, but we do get Woods challenging Gunther for the title, and we move along to a Judgment Day interview and promo here, which, man, this stuff just isn't for me, but I do love me some Damian Priest in the match that followed. Before we get Priest saying that Santos Escobar can go in the ring, but he can't choose friends. Priest will address the Bad Bunny stuff in the ring, and then the three of them head out. Rhea also kind of scoffs at the mention of Zelina Vega in this. He gets to the ring and tells Bad Bunny if he wants to show up and attend, that's cool, but if Bunny gets involved with Judgment Day, we all know what will happen. Which is a surefire way to tell you Bad Bunny's gonna be in the ring.
No.
WrestleMania Backlash, which we already knew, but decent enough build out for this. Before Priest can say anything else, Zelina Vega comes out and distracts Rhea Ripley and the other LWO members, jumping Priest and Dom from behind on the Judgment Day. Really, 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 really good match here, though. I loved the match that we got. Santos Escobar is a star. Damian Priest is great. It is so nice to see them just wrestling. Give me more of that, please. There's this amazing part where Priest hit a tornado kick in the South of Heaven to pick up the win in this, but Escobar just hitting an avalanche Hurricane Rana, like no big deal. Like no big deal. Just fantastic in ring work. It's awesome seeing Santos Escobar and LWO be so over so quick and so naturally. The Judgment Day stuff isn't for me. But I really, really, really am so happy to see Santos Escobar with all this momentum because he is fantastic and deserves it and is that guy if you let him be. Your thoughts on all of this?
Very, very happy to see, and I mentioned this before, the LWO bag, but again, there's a side of me that makes it feel like it's gimmicky because of what's coming. You know, the Puerto Rico show and stuff like that, right? You
Sure.
get merch sales and toy sales and stuff like that. So I want to get behind it because I do believe that perhaps maybe there is life with it, and perhaps we can build these Latin stars, and perhaps we can start moving away from the Eddie Guerreros and the Rey Mysterios and start building some new people. I mean, I
Santos is that guy, man.
Santos is it. He can talk. He can do so much.
Alex, he's just cool.
I mean, God,
he's just so cool. Like, he's the coolest dude. I feel like the ironic thing is we're talking about getting away from the Eddie Guerreros of the world. I feel like everybody gets compared to Eddie Guerrero if you're Hispanic.
Everyone.
But he's the closest. He's like the closest. And I feel like he gets maybe less comparisons because he's not doing frog splashes every 2 minutes.
I'm excited that he's also not a heel because, you know, that's what they like to do is make anyone who doesn't speak English heel. Like, I mean, I'm sorry. He speaks very good English and he does not need anyone to speak for him. But I feel like when it comes to, you know, Latinos, Japanese wrestlers, et cetera, it's always like something they're either a heel or someone speaking for them, you know. So I feel like
and he was heel in NXT and he was phenomenal.
And he was phenomenal,
like,
yeah.
He is so magnetic and easy to like. It is cool that they're like, well, let's just lean into that for a bit.
Yeah, I could only hope, yeah.
Asian Joe, who's just the best dude. Saying nothing to add other than thanks for both of you for your time and your work. Here's some money I saved by not going to Smackdown tonight.
Thank you.
You made the right call.
I can fix my audio issues with that.
Oh my goodness. There you go. Good stuff here, and I don't want to leave Damian Priest out of this conversation either. He was really, really great tonight as well.
Damian Priest is really, you know who Damian Priest reminds me of? When he's talking in the ring, he has a little bit of a Scott Hall swagger. Scott Hall's very slow and methodical, right? Hey, yo, I know you want to fight me. Come on out here, Chico, right? But with him, with Priest, he has that bravado and that look and that like, hey, you want to come out here and mess with me? Huh? Is that what you want? Then you come out to the ring. Like, he has it. I feel like he's kind of a little bit like that, and I love that about him.
I'll take that comparison.
Yeah, he's another one. He's a Puerto Rican too, man. He reps his heritage on his pants. He speaks the Spanish. He's very fluent. He's another Latino. I feel like he's another one. Selena Vega. Like, come on, man. Like, we have all these great Latino wrestlers. Let's throw them out there.
And Louise, our moderator, reminding us that Zelina came out with the chancla tonight. Deadliest weapon in human history. Good stuff here. We move along to a fun. We'll do all the bloodline stuff at the end, though. Actually, I'll wrap that all up. We'll move along to the tag team championship celebration for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez.
They're champions.
They're champions. They have to figure out what to do from a character standpoint with Raquel, other than she smiles and has muscles. That's it.
And can carry Liv on her back. She's
got back muscles. The stuff that they wrote for her today sounded like the same crap that was being written for Ronda Rousey and her Natty Boombalatti stuff. That's like, oh, Liv, thanks for letting me heave you into people. Ha ha ha. It's bad.
I know,
it is bad. She is awesome.
I feel she sounds nervous on the mic, and I think it's because she's either trying to remember what she has to say, like she's smiling
about delivering really bad creatives.
Yeah, like bad. she's smiling. She looks like $1 million, but I feel like she's forcing it when she's talking.
Yeah, I think that happens when you give people things that aren't natural to say. Like it becomes difficult to deliver those things. I really hope that I like her as a face. I don't think everybody who's like, oh, she's big and strong, let's make her a heel. Like, you don't have to do that, but this ain't it either. Liv is so phenomenally over and was hilarious in this. She was like, I'll let you heat me into anyone whenever you want. Like, she just like, on the flip side, I thought is so lovable in this. She's just like, this adorable little maniac is a really, really, really fun thing with us.
Is Liv getting away from her crazy self and kind of just morphing into like a tag team partner? I want to say, because maybe her single self is crazy. loves pain.
I mean, if you're being heaved into people, I think that's a really, like, you're probably still leaning into that, but she is, I think, a little bit, that works a little bit better in kind of like a healer or tweener role, and I think she's pretty well babyface. We'll see where it goes. I hope that they have plans for the women's tag team division. That would be nice, and I actually kind of like the program that they built out. I don't necessarily love how they tried to get there. I think a Sonya Deville, Chelsea Green tag team is a really fun idea. I really appreciate Sonya Deville saying, you didn't really beat the tag team champions because Lita wasn't in the match like Trish was. And we all saw how intimidating her kick was. Did not land well. I really appreciated that she was like, we didn't say that anybody can just go around freebirding titles all the time. That wasn't clarified. You didn't win those titles. Really good stuff there. Chelsea Green is hysterical in this role. I really, really love, she just has such a grip on the type of comedic style that they want to execute with this. She's nailing
she's good,
every bit of this like silly Karen role. It's been really, really fun. I also like this as an opening program for the tag team champs. I've been wanting more Sonya Deville on my TV. Chelsea Green's one of the few people that has gotten called back and is getting pushed. So that's nice to see. Really, really, really strong stuff here. Excited for that. Green has to pull Sonya away. This, of course, comes to blows and Oblivion, and the champs are standing tall here. A lot of talking today. A lot of blow-offs today. Again, you got the draft around the corner, so what are you going to do? You're not really building out stories yet, I guess. But in an exciting return-ish, we do get Shinsuke Nakamura coming back, which was fantastic to see. Loved the entrance. I don't necessarily miss Pat McAfee dancing. I like Shinsuke, having the shine on Shinsuke here. There was an era when you're being paired with Rick Boogs, it's probably good to have Pat McAfee nudging you along when you're coming out in like your very cool black getup, which feels closer to the presentation that he had against Muda. I think he was pulling some of that back in here, which I love. Crowds going nuts, especially in a big return. Just let the moment be the moment. Really great stuff there. On the other hand, you had Madcap Moss getting a motivational speech from his girlfriend, who's a world-class wrestler, who was a standout knockouts talent, who's a phenomenal in-ring talent. I don't know if she's injured or what, but her having a crush on Madcap and just being like, you can do it, makes me want to puke. It's bad. It's just bad. This was essentially an exaggerated squash. You got Shinsuke winning with the Kinshasa, which is exactly what you would expect and want here. And then we see, I'm actually not opposed to the tarot card gimmick when executed like this. What the hell was this camera angle? This was so weird and dumb.
That's the point, by the way.
It feels like a home video camera from 1992 that you shove up in your friend's face when you're making like a.
They wanted to give you that uncomfortable feeling, and it worked. It gave you like a weird, what the hell's happening? This is ridiculous feeling, and
it gave me a weird Rampage on yet feeling.
The motif worked. I'll give it up to them. Then maybe I like that one. See, come on, Twitter, come for me now. I liked that Karrion Kross TikTok video.
They had it for a minute. They had a presentation backstage with the Rey Mysterio thing where they tied it all together and it was just a single camera shot with the normal background and normal clothes. And what the hell, man? What are we doing? There was
no blow off either to Ray. It just kind of just like,
well, no, because this other angle took off and Ray got injured. But like, I'll throw this at you. Pulaski said it on Select. What if you brought Shinsuke back on Raw and you had him feud with Seth Rollins and they had like which one of the themes is the crowd singing kind of battle built on respect, but like a salty Seth Rollins being like, you took the shine off of the singing of my thing.
That's sports entertainment. There it is.
It's entertaining. I would take that over this. I don't know what the hell this was. And it's not that presentation stuff. That part of it ain't Karrion Kross's fault. This was weird and bad and dumb.
I want NXT Shinsuke. I want
NXT.
That was so cool.
NXT but even on the
Shinsuke
main roster, there's so many. There's so many. And what they did with Shinsuke tonight, I thought was fine. What they did with Karrion Kross, I thought was a bad home movie. Not good. Not good.
That's what they're working for. I liked it. You know what? We'll agree to disagree for the first time.
The second time you mentioned Jeff Jarrett earlier. We get to the main event here. We did have a segment before this with Paul Heyman saying the word embarrassed 100 million times. Saying when you beat Solo Sikoa, you embarrass him, but you embarrass the legacy, and you embarrass Fatu, and you embarrass Alex Cardoza, and you embarrass the entire state of Hawaii, and you embarrass everyone. But Solo's part of it was awesome, where he was like, I got this. It was awesome. I loved that from Solo. That was really, really great. I love him being like, tell the tribal chief, I got it on lock. Really, 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 really fun stuff with that. Solo wins here with the Samoa Spike. Of course, what you would expect. Solo recovering and kicking Matt Riddle down, winning with Samoan Spike. I just don't care about Matt Riddle. I just don't. Like, I have no investment in him. And I'm not someone who their off-screen stuff gets in my way too much. But it just feels like we went from the perfect story with Sami and Kevin to Sami and Kevin being a little too integrated with Cody. And now Sami and Kevin are a little too integrated with Riddle. Just not for me. Solo Sikoa continues to be one of the coolest success stories to come up in the world, though. I feel like this has been a really fun build. You can kind of see the handwriting on the wall where things are going with Backlash and the Bloodline and all this. So that's all perfectly well and good. But if the intent of your wrestling program is for me to be able to fill in the gaps of what was so predictable anyway, that's just not that fun for me. Now, again, my expectations were not high because we have the draft coming up. There's going to be a lot of movement after that. That's always a reset button, right? This is just going to be an awkward period until that's done. But this just didn't do it for me. Matt Riddle's incredible in the ring. I can never take that away from him, would never want to. He's a great in-ring performer. Him and Solo Sikoa did some good work tonight in this match as well. I just am not emotionally invested. To be completely honest, I also wasn't watching live and in real time the past 2 weeks. I watched ROH Supercard and then I had commentary, so I caught up. But I wonder if that's also playing into it a little bit, is like that big reveal, his coming back on SmackDown, all that kind of stuff. I just wasn't seeing in real time. I was seeing it after the fact. So the wind might be out of my sails for that reason as well. But what did you think of the Bloodline through line tonight and then our main event here?
I'm with you. I won't ever take anything away from Matt Riddle's physicality and who he is and what he does. But I feel out of place. I'm like, we've had all this build and all this great stuff happening, and then, bro, I'm like, what? You know, like, I don't understand. Maybe it's because
What if I told you?
Go ahead.
There were CGI birds.
I wouldn't believe it. I thought those were real birds the entire time, and I was just wondering how they got them out of the stadium. But
you're so funny.
But yeah, I don't know, man. Is this their blow-off match? Is this it? Like, is this the payback? Like, okay, cool. Matt Riddle came back, but he still got his ass beat, and he's just gonna stop it.
Probably. We'll see. I'm wondering if this is also the way that they leverage Randy Orton coming back into the picture here.
Oh, yeah.
Possibly. God. I don't know how far along he is. I never like to speculate on injuries, but there's an opening there, right?
He's another one, right?
He is. I don't know. He's been injured for a while, and it was a bad injury. So we'll see. But it does feel like if he is healthy, this is probably the place where he could re-enter, maybe at SummerSlam.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. I look at the crowd reactions to a lot of things. Like Matt Riddle came back. Yeah, Matt Riddle. I'm like.
It also didn't help, though, that like he got brought back the Raw after Mania, and the rest of that episode was terrible, and he was the only surprise when people had really high expectations. So you kind of also set him up to fail in that role.
Yeah, well. I don't know. I listen. I enjoy pro wrestling. I know I'm sitting here and I bag on some things here and there, But we were talking about things that are pre-written. Like a movie critic talks about a film. I never take anything away from the performers. I just wish that sometimes things just kind of fit into pieces a little better as opposed to forcing them in. So I can't wait to see. Maybe we get an FTR and Randy Orton reunion in AEW. God only knows, right? You love to put stuff out there into the universe, right?
You just never know. We do have a couple more chats to round us out. Thank you guys so much for sticking with us tonight. Albert Ponce saying Knight lost, Santos lost, Nakamura squash, and there was an ending to Cross and Ray. And will the tag titles be defended at Night of Champions? Yeah, it does feel like they're killing some of their darlings here. LA Knight losing stinks and is weird. Like that feels unnecessary. Santos here. There's at least a bigger story in play. You can kind of see where it's going, but it did line up tonight. Nakamura squash makes sense. We never really got an ending to Cross and Ray, but I think we were supposed to, and then the injury happened. So
I'm okay with them not whatever.
Yeah, you can that one you can drop because they have lightning in a bottle, even though I don't like it. With the stuff that's going on with Dominic. So I hope the tag titles are defended at Night of Champions. It would be silly if they weren't. No, it's in Saudi Arabia, so probably not.
Right.
Yeah, probably not.
Jeddah.
That's a bummer. Sheldon Jackson saying, are you concerned like me that Sami and KO will have a short title reign since WWE rebranded KNQOT? Oh, King Queen of the Ring. I got it. Night of Champions, and the show will be in Saudi for obvious reasons. Neither man will be there.
No, they'll just they'll make their way.
They might hot potato it. That's
they will. Correct. Yeah.
They might hot potato it, or they might just leave it off the show. I think they'll still end up with them. Maybe they re-win them back at SummerSlam or whatever.
Easy injury angle. Oh, KO and Sami couldn't be here today. They got hurt. Like it's just there's a lot of ways. They got locked out of their car. A lot of times they lose their keys. Like it's all kind of stuff, It's entertainment.
In Jeddah, they lost their keys. Well, that's the end of our show. It's a little bit shorter of one tonight because there wasn't a lot going on. And also, I don't mind that since I haven't not talked about wrestling in like 3 weeks.
Round of applause going out to Kay for being back here on the show today.
Round of applause to me for doing a show that is not extremely long. I usually talk a lot.
Yeah, we love to go long here.
Hacking up a lung to keep me from doing so.
We love quickies.
We love a good quickie.
That never gets old here. I love Friday.
I'm getting. Then we say that and we're like, why does everybody say we sleep together on the internet?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden it's like, we love our coffee and quickies.
Love our That's quickies, what it is. Love our meat.
Mine's burnt.
You would love your burnt meat. Alex, tell the good people where they can find you at.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can catch me on Instagram at Alexis Cardoza. And then from there, you can click on my little bio and follow me.
Are you underscore?
No, that's my Twitter.
That's only on Twitter.
As my name states right here. But yes, if you click on the link on bio, you'll see everything I do, including this beautiful show here with Miss Kate herself. And big things, man. Big things are happening. So we just continue to move forward and be happy.
Hell yeah. I do just want to address this real quick because it does fit into kind of overall stuff that we were talking about today. But what's the update on Drew McIntyre's situation with WWE since he took the WWE name out of his Twitter bio? It got his photo and cover all black. Shawn has asked about it. That's the only update I have for you. I just want you guys to know that if there is anything definitive, that will be on either FightfulSelect.com most likely. Because that's good money news right there. Or Fightful. But keep an eye out. Shawn asked about it. I don't know if we'll get an answer. Very well could be kayfabe as he was leaning heel. But 100%, we will find out. And the most important question of the night. I know this isn't paid. Okay. So... But what makes you...
Oh, baby. We cannot say that live here on air. Instead, I will just text it to Kate.
Just one of my many, apparently. But you can catch me going to New Japan tomorrow. I'm so excited. I got a little road trip ski lined up tomorrow and into Sunday doing DC and Philly for back-to-back New Japan shows. Eddie Kingston's injured. I'm so sad about that. But looking very forward to the show with a couple of friends of mine. We will not be running Kate and Joel Call It in the Ring on Sunday. Joel will be at Impact as well. So usual rotation of Monday Night on Select doing the Sour Grapes Raw post show. Tuesday doing the NXT Fightful main channel post show. Also Sour Grapes. Wednesdays at the Mark Order Pod. Thursdays doing the ROH review with Reg. Favorite thing in the world. Passing it off to the Impact review. And Fridays, most Fridays, I get to come back here, hang out with Alex doing our AEW Rampage and Smackdown post show. Shawn will be back for the draft show. So if you are Sean Ross Sapp stan, you will be back
on those. Friday?
On Friday, yeah.
Wow.
Friday and yeah, so
it's gonna be a long show.
Go home, think about what you've done. You're suspended for your Jeff Jarrett comments earlier.
I'm not on next Friday. Understood.
Yeah, you're right. Real talk. I should talk to Shawn. I don't know.
I just got fired for my
Jeff
Jeff Jarrett antics.
That's it. You're like, I love carrying Cross's weird camera angles and Jeff Jarrett. So
I want to thank you all for having me on here these past couple months. It's been real.
We do have one more super chat, and I'm gonna vamp a little bit because I closed out the document that it's listed on. And I'm going to have to reopen it. So what I will do is put over our wonderful moderator, Luis, who I was telling you my schedule. He moderated all those damn shows.
I could read it.
If you want do you have it open?
I've always have it open. I'm an open book. I'm as open can be.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, read it out.
All right. Who dethrones FTR? And that's coming from First Lieutenant Photo.
All right. Who dethrones FTR?
It's too early to tell, I think.
Yeah, there's so much weird stuff happening.
Yeah.
I would love for it to be like Butcher and Blade.
Oh, God, yes, please.
That's my dream, is like somebody who's probably going to be transitional, but it would mean a lot if they beat FTR, I think would be like the move there. But these stories, it could very well be the Hardy Boys. They might give them a couple months with it. You could do like FTR and the Hardy Boys. One thing that came up that I didn't even think about was like Edge's contract is running out soon in WWE, and Christian's is not. And Wembley Stadium's right there. You could do the Hardys and Edge and Christian and FTR if you wanted. Like, there are possibilities. So,
dude, do you know what WWE my dream fans would do for you for that? Don't even put that out there. Don't, just close your DMs.
I would love it. I would be intrigued by it, certainly. It would be a super fun way to pull nostalgia and present day wrestling into things. Who would you want to see dethrone FTR?
God, I've advocated for Butcher and Blade for months here with you until I get fired on Friday, but I've been just always talking about Butcher and Blade. Why not? Even if it's short, even if it lasts 3 months until the next pay-per-view.
I also think it would be really fun if you do have a heel FTR to have Dark Order win either Silver and Reynolds or Grayson and Uno, because like a heel FTR that takes wrestling super seriously against like a lovable Dark Order duo could be a really fun program of them being like such condescending assholes to the Dark Order. Could be like really, really, really
so many. The Hardys, you have the Acclaim could come back for it. Like there's just a lot happening here.
Yeah, we will wait and see. Any other chats in there, Mr. Super Chat Man?
Nothing left.
All right. Well, good. Thank you so much for all of your support, not only today, but on Fightful Select. Hitting that 10,000 mark again is something that we only thought would probably happen if something insane happened, and leave it to CM Punk and Vince McMahon selling the company, whatever, for that to happen. But that support is why we get to do what we do. So,
and maybe Shawn will allow me to put up what makes my nipples hard on Fightful Select.
There it is.
$5 a month.
You heard it here first. Confirmed. All right. Thank you so much. Have a safe and wonderful weekend. Enjoy any wrestling you might be watching. We're out of here.